What's going on, world? Coming out the apocalypse. Actually, we're not coming out. We are into the apocalypse, but making her way back onto the NRW after a vacation, and it's our first time talking the apocalypse. My pal Heather. How are you, Heather?
Not great. Not great. I at
Understandably.
least what? Yeah, I know. I did get a week to pretend nothing was going on. I surrounded myself with Disney World Disneyness. Got to write on a whole bunch of things that I probably shouldn't have. And I'm actually strongly considering this. So if people out in the universe want this, I have really bad motion sickness. And ironically, I did not start getting into roller coasters until adulthood. I was very scared of them until I married my husband. So basically, the moment that I started getting comfortable on roller coasters is the moment I could no longer ride them. But I wanted to do it anyway. So I had a lot of really great experiences. I wrote on a lot of things I probably shouldn't have. And I want to actually help assuage some fears related to motion sickness and some of the new rides, like the new Star Wars rides. So if y'all are interested in learning like the actual, not reading a whole bunch of jumbled mess of where you could sit, where you might sit, what might make you sick, what might not. If y'all are interested in an actual from someone who gets motion sickness, where you should sit, what rides you can and can't ride, tell us. I will get that updated because I think it's a good. I couldn't. My problem was is when I was trying to find it, I found a lot of mixed match reviews. It's I go with someone who is motion sick and they can't, or it's when I went on it, I was a little bit queasy, but y'all, I have bad motion sickness, and so if y'all need some actual examples, I can give them to you. Other than that, the world is on fire and it's only getting worse. We have the WWE is now responsible for the Department of Education.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you?
Heather. Oh man, I've missed you. Webster and Style and I were like, man, why did she get to go on vacation? We were just
I
talking
haven't
trash.
done it in over a year, so I get
So
it.
we're happy for you. Happy for you. We are just like, we need to go on vacation. But yo, crazy. You brought up motion sickness. Since I last saw you, I've realized I have motion sickness because Red One, that was one of my top picks last week. They showed it for the press when I screened it in 40x. I've never done Regal's 40x, and they had it for us in that experience. It's cool, but that finally made me realize I can't do this no more. Like I get
Well,
sick. It was crazy
you know
because
what's
it was
really
moving to the film. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. It's you know what's really interesting. Do you have allergies?
Not really, but I started, developing it once I moved it to this area. I take Zyrtec, every day to help me with that.
So I didn't know this. So for all of you out there, random quick science facts here. Dramamine, which is the primary name brand that people use to fight motion sickness, is an antihistamine. What you're trying to do is you're trying to clear out your sinuses. So you might have just been having a bad sinus day when you were seeing Red One, which led to motion sickness. I'm not saying that's the only reason. There are several causes, but Dramamine is an antihistamine, and it's specifically supposed to support the clearing out of the sinus cavities to help you be able to calibrate yourself better.
Oh,
I'm not
gotcha,
a
gotcha.
scientist,
Oh, no,
but
no worries. No, no, I hear that. But it's been something I've been feeling for a while because whenever I've gone to a park, I always get like the worst headache, and it's just been constantly happening. And having a daughter that we're teaching how to drive, girl, like that, that sputter, putting the foot on the gas, all that. It just like all of these things from like rides to carnivals to now 40x experience. I'm like, okay, I think I have motion sickness now, and well, have it. I've now recognized it, and I'm just not gonna do certain things. Like there's just certain things I'll like maybe once a year, get on like a moving ride thing that's jolting me back and forth unexpectedly. But yeah, that was crazy. So I will look for your list,
okay,
Heather.
I can do it. I
I
can make
wanna
some.
I
I'll
wanna
do some
peep that list.
shorts. What I'll do is I'll do shorts since nobody likes to read anymore. I'll do maybe I'll do some shorts and I'll do like park by park kind of
There you
thing.
go.
Um, But if y'all are interested, definitely tell me, because I mean, that's, if y'all aren't as interested, I'll kind of do it slowly. But if y'all are interested, I'll get it up ASAP. So,
Well, I'll speak for myself because it's just weird that you brought that up, because last week is when I realized that I have that problem.
a
So
lot of people
it
do.
felt just timely. It felt the universe speaking to me. And even though you were gone, you and I were still together, Heather, reaching out. Patrick, I got you.
Mhm.
But yeah, Red One, yeah, crazy. Fort X is still fun, I think, for the younger set, but us older guys or just whomever who feel like that motion sickness might not be for you, because it's a
It also,
2 hour movie, jolting and stuff flying in your face, and you're like, what's going on? It was an experience, y'all.
you really have to nitpick which movies you see in that too. My husband and I were looking at seeing Sonic in there, but like, there's a lot of weird movies. Like, I wouldn't watch like Oppenheimer. There was Oppenheimer in 40X, and I was just like, why?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But then at the same time, I would choose very little, because Red One, like I had thought about when Twister dropped, like that would be cool. But now thinking at it now, it would have been constant,
mhm.
jolting. F that. I would have left the theater. Hell no. Because just the little bit that I got in Red One from the Santa sleigh rides, I was like done. I was like holding myself, like, whew, just trying to make it through the damn film. Entertaining, good film. But yeah. Anyway, we've missed you, Heather. I've got 4 picks this week, so I'm gonna get right to it. One I inserted because you're back. I wanted something true crime to talk about in here because I know you like true crime. And I spoke to the director of it, Billy Mintz, and that interview's on the channel right now. So let's go to that first pick out the gate. You ready, Heather?
Sure.
All right, I'm talking Making Manson, Charles Manson. We're hearing some audio tapes that had never been heard before. Billy Mintz put it together in this this as a
Documentary.
director for this documentary. Thank you for Peacock. Here we go.
It is a whole part of my life that nobody knows about. I murder everybody I could. I'd kill you all if I had the chance. How you doing, soldier?
If I only knew what rabbit hole I was stepping into.
Charles Manson is notorious for the most frightening murders that ended the 60s.
You're recording everything we say, right?
I've got 20 years worth of phone calls. Everything I have is unreleased.
This is the first time anybody's heard this?
Yeah.
Manson's threatened to kill me 3 times.
I definitely loved Charlie.
Susie handed me a knife and said, I love you so much. I took her life for you. I stabbed her to death. 15 years old, I was in the penitentiary. I was playing music with a raggedy old guitar. The Beach Boys wanted me to play with them. I left some dead people on the beach. One woman is not enough for a man. I can kill anybody I want. If a dude just looks at me funny, I'll shoot him.
This is Manson behind the curtain. You see that mask come off.
I never said I was innocent. I said I didn't break the law.
All right, there you go. Making Manson on Peacock. It's about 3 episodes. An easy binge, but well worth it. I love history and a little bit of true crime. I'm not as probably a true crime person as Heather is. But Billy Mintz, when I spoke with him, the director of this, really cool cat, has done a lot of great work with his documentary work to bring out stories that we may not have heard of, and also to just let people know the real stories. This one was really interesting. It didn't glamorize Manson. He is a serial killer, and he's not a good guy, but it also tells you the human side of things and just different parts of this person that's notorious. What do you think of Making Manson, Heather?
I'm kind of 50-50 on it. As one of the things that I really love about current day, like literally the last 2 or 3 years of documentaries that we're seeing, which is about the last 5 years of production. No, more like the last 10, because documentaries take forever, y'all. They really respect them. They focus more on the victims and their stories, and they kind of start tearing down the facade, the glorification of these criminals. And this looks very much like a moment that we get to step in and see him as a human. And I'm honestly uninterested in seeing a white supremacist as a human.
Definitely agree, especially in the apocalypse we're living in. I totally agree with you, and that was the same intention of Billy Mintz as well.
Mhm.
A lot of the victims, everybody that he could get to speak that were around this situation were involved. And in the first episode, one of the subjects was like, "I don't want my participation or my piece to glamorize this guy. This guy was a bad guy." And it's all in there and spoken by the people that were around this guy. So I think they did a great job of giving voice to everyone, but I completely agree. This will still fall into that slot, but at least I feel this one gave some people some voice. But yeah, there is just way too many that glamorize the bad guy, if you will, and that is not good. And as you said, too many evil white guys out here running shit and still feel they can do shit. Anyway, ready to transition to another one, Heather?
Sure.
All right, this one really caught my eye when I screened it. I also have interviews with the cast that you'll see on NRW. One of them's already up right now. But yes, let's head to Interior Chinatown, and then I'll talk more afterward. Coming to Hulu.
It's actually on Hulu
In
right
Chinatown.
now.
Yes.
Nothing ever changes. Nothing exciting ever happens to me or you or anyone we know.
I feel like I'm a background character in someone else's story.
I think that's called being a loser.
Shut up, man.
Police are investigating a missing woman. The abduction may be related to reports of a gang war.
Whoa. Who is that?
She looks Thai.
Dude, she's clearly Korean. Know your Asians.
Holy, what is she doing here?
Willis Wu.
You know my name?
Pretend to take my order.
Welcome to the Golden Palace. How may I help you?
Just act normal.
Welcome to the Golden Palace.
I need your help.
Why me?
You know Chinatown better than I do? I need someone on the inside.
Yeah, you know who this is.
Get in.
Days of the pork fried rice coming to your house, my beer's over.
There's something going on in Chinatown. A pattern of incidents I don't yet understand.
That's my brother. He's been missing for 12 years.
He was working with us.
So, you're going to solve this?
We are.
We?
We work together.
You're dating that detective?
I'm not dating anyone.
Just friends, but it's complicated. That's the best kind of relationship.
Let me tell you this.
You are getting involved with things you don't yet understand.
I watch too much TV.
I don't know what's going on, but weird things are starting to happen.
Oh, he's in it now.
In what?
There's got to be a different angle. And if we find it,
And I can find out what happened to my brother.
I don't want to lose another son.
What's the commotion? You never seen me?
If you want to be a part of this, why not be the hero?
Guys like us don't become the hero.
Then what are you training so hard for?
In Chinatown, Kung Fu can break out any moment.
We're closed!
Wish you would come to Chinatown, get lost in town, end up in the North.
Who are you?
you have to go, Willis.
Come to Chinatown, get lost in town, end up in the North and found.
Why am I like this?
Bad at drinking?
No, half dressed.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't get your shirt off, so I just did your pants.
So you Donald ducked me.
Nice quads, bro.
All right, there you go. As Heather stated, as of this recording, it's now available on Hulu, Interior Chinatown. I had the pleasure of participating in a couple of press conferences with Taika Waititi, who's one of the producers and director on the first episode, as well as Charles Yu, who this series is based on his book. And then also Jimmy O Yang had a separate conference, but then I had my one-on-ones with Jimmy O Yang as well as Tai Ma and Archie Kao. The Archie Kao and Tai Ma interview is already up, and by the time you see this, you'll actually see the Jimmy O Yang interview as well. Great time talking to them. This one struck me as an Asian American who's both an actor and filmmaker. As I said earlier, Charles Yu, who wrote this and is also on this series adapting his book, kind of follows his story. He was an actor trying to get out there in Hollywood and was playing the background, much like myself. I did a lot of background work before started getting some lead roles. And this really speaks to a lot of people of color that, you know, a lot of our stories we're just kind of the background, we're the setting, but we're never the lead character. And this kind of bends that, and it's so good. I really had a great time watching this, and hopefully people are seeing it now and enjoying it. Really great series that has so many layers and speaks on so many different things. And even if you're not an Asian American, we all feel like sometimes we're just playing the background. We're not the people running our own story. And so I think everyone can relate to this series, and it's a lot of fun, action, comedy, just a great series. What do you think of Interior Chinatown, Heather?
Looks like a lot of fun. It's kind of a hodgepodge of Asian American film, Asian. I felt a lot of like 1980s Asian film in there. But at the same time, it's one of the things that really struck me. And there was a really great on Hulu, the paranormal documentary that I did interviews for, or that I did an interview for. It actually has an episode about the problems that you see in Chinatown, the criminal activity in Chinatown, and communities like that are often ignored by the police. They're often, they're lower on the chain. So what you have to do is a lot of the times, you bring people in who know the area, who know the community, and that helps solve crimes. It helps create communication. It helps create notice of what's going on in these greater communities. And so I think this is going to be a really fun spotlight on how that happens in real communities today. And I really like that. I like the reality and kind of the cinematic fictionalization of it. So.
Yeah, it's fun series, really cool. Got a little bit of everything, and had a great time talking with everybody involved with that. Just good stuff. So go check that out, y'all. Available on Hulu, as well as check out our interviews here on the NRW. Next up, a film that I don't know if it needed a remake, but they decided to do a remake with a legendary director, Ridley Scott. He decided to do it. Gladiator 2. Let's go to that. Here we go.
This Friday, audiences everywhere are calling Gladiator the single greatest movie of the year.
I put you in the ring, you fight or you die.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
It's ferociously entertaining.
The odds are against you.
The odds are always against me.
This is what movies were made for.
The gods have spoken!
To amuse you is my only wish. I'm just here for the games.
Gladiator. Only in theaters Friday.
All right, there you go. Gladiator arriving this Friday as of this recording. What do you think, Heather? Did you enjoy the first
50-50. I was see, and that's the thing, it's when it comes to the first one, like I was already like one of those people that was the contrarian of the conversation. Like I wasn't a huge fan of it. It also came out right when I was too young for that concept. So it was like that perfect storm of I just had no interest in the original. And not saying that it's a bad movie, because I also was just coming into my cinephile age, but it's just not a movie that I was able to get into. And once again, I said this in our React, it's probably about time that I go in and actually go in with fresh eyes and rewatch the original. And at the same time, I love Pedro with all of my heart and soul, and I love Denzel. He is one of my hall passes. But I don't know if we need this. And from what I'm hearing though, across the board, it's a pretty damn good movie. That's what I'm hearing across the board. And I'm doing the Trump thing right now. I don't know why. What I'm hearing is it's a pretty damn good movie. I just don't know how on board I am with it, nor do I know how much we even if it's a good movie, do we really need it?
Okay.
Do we really need it?
I got you. That is what I felt coming into it. You know, we did our React and everything. I will say it is entertaining. It gives you those Coliseum fights. Everybody played the part. Pedro's great. Denzel is great. Paul Mescal, Connie Nielsen's back. She actually was in the original. It is a suited continuation of the story, if you will. And it has great moments, but I don't know, there's like a heart missing that the original had. And because I'm a fan of the original. I love the original. I'll never forget seeing the original. I was actually in the military when the original dropped, and I watched this in Turkey. And it was just an interesting theatrical experience to watch this with other Turkish, non-US audience. And it was a delight and memorable. But great film. This one is good. It's just not great. It doesn't have the same heart, but I have a full review on the channel. But it is entertaining. It is definitely a movie to see in the theaters, in IMAX, that sound, that big screen. But yeah, and I think that's what they're going for, and solid enough story and a theatrical experience. But yeah, did Gladiator need a remake? I don't know, but they did it, and it's there, it exists. And is it bad? No, it's actually decent, but it's not great. So there you go. But speaking of greatness, a film that is going to be on everybody's mind, and especially us musical theater kids. I know Heather's one of those. I had the pleasure of taking my wife and daughter to this press screening, and
I was not here. I want to point out, because I was not here.
You could have gone too. Yeah, I would have made you part of the family, Heather. It's wicked, y'all. We'll get to that, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Here we go.
Fellow Aussians, the Wicked Witch of the West is dead.
Don't let her get away!
Let me tell you the whole story. Our paths did cross. At school. Oh, you're green. I am. Together we're unlimited. She had her secrets. Absolutely remarkable. There is no fight we cannot win. Just you and I,
Why is it you're always causing some sort of commotion?
I don't cause commotions, I am one. Some of us are just different.
Listen to me. You can do anything.
I know.
All aboard the Emerald City!
Just follow the road. It's gonna lead you right to me. The best way to bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy.
This wicked witch.
Don't be afraid. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
The wizard that there is or was is ever gonna bring me down.
All right, there you go. Wicked is dropping this Friday, November 22nd, as of this recording. Heather, how familiar are you with Wicked, the musical, and Wizard of Oz and all of that? Are you excited for Wicked? I think you are.
I am a queer theater kid. So yeah, I know the songs. I've never actually seen it live. My mother and my sister have. They saw it after I left the house. Graduating, sucks sometimes. Your parents realize they have more money for the other children. but it's actually a musical that I've wanted to see literally since it was released. I've I know the songs. I listen to show tunes on airplanes, and when I travel, that's like what I listen to. And Wicked is on that rotation. The first part is of course going to be up until the intermission, which leads into the war in the second piece. And I'm really excited for this movie. I actually, if I was not so dead from walking 12 miles a day at Disney, I would have joined you for the premiere. I remember sitting in an email going, yes, I'm going to see that. I'm so excited for it. But there is something that I want to say to all of you theater nerds, especially theater nerds with children who are becoming theater nerds. This is not a sing-along. They are setting up specialty showings around Christmas, and they're actually saying released on Christmas, but it's probably around Christmas, that are sing-alongs. For those of us who went to see Cats in theaters, for those of us who have been to numerous different showings, like Hamilton, there were sing-along versions of that in theaters. Please do not sing along unless it is a specific sing-along film. If you have kids, it's nice to hear that they're excited to see this, but that's not the type of film that this is for. The audience wants to listen to the musicians. This isn't me trying to be rude. This is me going, don't be rude for the other audience members, because I know I've been caught accidentally singing along and my husband smacked me upside the shoulder. Politely, not abuse, politely. So just remember, there will be showings that will be sing-alongs, and at that point, belt out in your worst absolute, you cannot hit any note songs that you want. Just wait, or wait till it gets home. Go and enjoy the movie. Just remember that the early showings are not going to be sing-alongs. Do not ruin it for other people.
Well said. That's awesome, and I like that you brought that up. Yeah, I would get slightly annoyed personally if I come on, man, I'm trying to hear this, so I like that you said that. I will tell you, Heather, wish you could have been there. My wife and daughter loved it. And for those that don't know, this is part 1. There's a part 2 to this, and they are dying for part 2. I definitely think we'll be going to the theaters again to see it another time because they really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I don't know. I didn't see the original Wicked. I'm familiar with it. I know a couple of the songs I recognize, but overall I wasn't aware. So for those that aren't familiar with Wicked, your perspective on Wizard of Oz is going to change, because let me tell you, F everybody in Oz. And that's all I'll say other than the Wicked. Well, then Elphaba. She's awesome.
But the thing is what's really great about these stories, we're seeing it in Marvel, we're seeing it in all these times. Where is a villain? Where does a villain truly lie? Who do we see? It's really great to watch see that line is very blurry. There's not this is going to be awful. There's not a black and white racism. There's racism right now, though.
There's definitely racism in this that I was like, oh, word?
Yeah, there's also, yes, it's also part of the depiction in the musical, but it's not always just good versus evil. There are always lines that are being blurred. How did she become the Wicked Witch? How do supervillains become villains? We talked about this a lot in our Angela in our Agatha All Along reviews, which we still need to finish. But it's going to be a fun time. For theater kids out there, go dressed up in your best costumes. And for all of you who have never read the book or listened to the musical, have fun and go pick up the soundtrack and definitely read the books. They're great. They're great.
Definitely. There's people at my screening that were all dressed up, and it was really cool to see. Wonderful to see. But yeah, chemistry between Ariana and Cynthia, amazing. There's a lot of things that I can't wait to see other people doing from that, because I was just loving it. Just great overall. I'll have a full review on the channel very soon. But there you go. Those are the picks. We have Interior Chinatown, Making Manson, Gladiator 2, Wicked. Where am I at this week? Heather Hertz.
Even for things like Gladiator, which I'm not all that excited for, I'd give it a thumbs up. It's once again might not be a me movie, but if it's still worth it, I would say thumbs up. So
all right, there you go. There's my pal Heather Hurt. We got a lot coming your way, y'all. So stay tuned. A lot of interviews, so much content dropping this week, y'all. Cruel Intentions coming to Prime Video. I have interviews with that cast. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, that remake film. I have interviews with that cast. Interior Chinatown, as I said, based on a true story, season 2. A lot of stuff. Armor dropping this week. So much content. Heather just did a bunch of interviews. It's pouring out of our ears, y'all. But there you go. Hit me and Heather up in the comments below. Heather Hurt, Kuya P, Nerds Rule the World. Yow. Till next week.